The sky had turned red in the city. Smoke rose from tall buildings, and sirens screamed in every direction. People ran with bags and children in their arms. No one knew who attacked first or why, but it was clear staying was no longer safe. Ravi was not a fighter. He was a technician who repaired machines. When the explosion started, he didn't look for answers. He picked up his small backpack, filled it with a torch, water, dry food, and a solar radio. Then he left without saying goodbye. He took his old motorbike and drove fast toward the forest, far from the city's noise. The roads were broken, but he knew a back path. His uncle had owned a wooden house deep in the trees. No one lived there anymore. It was quiet, away from power lines, away from everything, perfect for hiding by sunset. Ravi reached the edge of the forest. He hid the bike under bushes and walked for 2 hours until he saw the wooden roof between the trees. The house looked the same old but strong. He pushed open the door. It creaked. Dust filled the air. The floor was cold, but safe. Ravi dropped his bag, opened the windows to let in air, and started a fire in the small stove. The forest was silent. No gunshots, no screams. Only the soft sound of leaves moving with the wind. For the first time in 2 days, he felt a little calm. He sat on the wooden chair, ate some dry fruit, and checked the radio. There was only static. No messages, no voices, just silence. As night fell, Ravi made a bed near the fire with old blankets. He was tired. His legs hurt. His eyes closed slowly. But before he could sleep, he heard a sound, a soft step, then another. Inside the house. Ravi froze. He sat up and listened. The fire crackled. Wind touched the windows. Then a shadow moved across the far wall. Someone was inside, quietly. He reached for a stick near the door. He walked slowly toward the back room. The air was colder there. The door was slightly open. He pushed it. Inside, by the fireplace, a figure sat on the floor. A woman. She had long black hair and strange clothes that shimmered like water. Her skin was silver blue, and her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Ravi's breath caught. She looked up at him, calm, not afraid. "You are not with them," she said in slow, careful words. Ravi stepped back. "Who are you?" The woman touched a small device on her neck. It glowed, and her words became clearer. "I am not your enemy. I came here to hide. Like you." Ravi didn't know what to say. He had never seen anyone like her before. She was not human. Her fingers had only 3 joints. Her hair moved like it was in water, even though the air was still. "Are you from the sky?" he asked. "Yes," she said simply. "My name is Neela. My ship was attacked. I escaped and landed near this place. I was trying to rest. I did not know this house belonged to someone." Ravi lowered the stick. His heart was still racing, but her voice was soft. She looked tired, like she had been running too. Her left arm was wrapped in a strange cloth that glowed gently. It looked like a bandage. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "Yes, but it will heal." He looked at her again. She didn't seem like a soldier. No weapons, no armor, just strange tools hanging from her belt. Ravi stood silently. He thought for a while. Then he said, "This house is old. No one comes here. You can stay. But no tricks. I promise." Neela said. He gave her a blanket and a piece of bread from his bag. She accepted it with a nod. They sat on opposite sides of the room, the fire between them. "I came here after the city was attacked," Ravi said. "I saw," she replied. "My enemies were not just chasing me. They wanted something else. Power, control. Your world was in the way. Are they still looking for you?" "Yes, and maybe now, for you too." Ravi looked at the fire. He had escaped the city to find peace, but he had found something else, something much stranger. He should have felt afraid, but deep inside, he felt something new. He wasn't alone anymore. Ravi woke up early the next morning. Sunlight came through the wooden window, and birds sang outside. For a moment, he forgot everything. The city, the attack, the strange visitor. Then he turned his head and remembered. Neela was sitting by the fireplace, awake and silent. Her silver-blue skin glowed a little in the light. She was looking at a round device in her hand. It floated above her palm and turned slowly. Ravi sat up. "Good morning," he said. Neela nodded. "Good morning." There was a strange calm in her voice. She looked tired but focused. Ravi stood up and walked to the corner where he had kept his small cooking pan and food. "I'll make something warm," he said. She watched as he boiled water, added dry tea leaves, and opened a packet of biscuits. He gave her a cup of tea and a biscuit. She sniffed the cup, then tasted it. "This is sweet," she said. "But strange, it's just tea." Ravi smiled. "Everyone drinks it here." Neela looked at the cup again and took another sip. Then she placed her floating device on the floor. It slowly lowered and stopped spinning. "What is that thing?" Ravi asked. "It's called a mind orb." She said, "It helps me think faster. It keeps records, and it listens for danger." "Can it understand what's happening out there?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes, but it's weak now. The forest blocks many signals. That's good and bad." Ravi thought for a moment. "Why were you running?" Neela looked at the fire. Her eyes, large and glowing, seemed full of memory. "My people come from far away," she said. "We are not fighters. We travel. We learn. We don't take. We don't rule." She paused. "But there are others. They are not like us. They want control. They follow and destroy. They don't listen." Ravi sat down, listening carefully. "They are called the Drake," she continued. "They found our ships. They broke them. Some of us escaped. I was one of the last." "So you crashed here?" he asked. Double quotes. "Yes. My escape pod landed in the forest, far from the city. I followed the lights and sounds. I thought maybe I would find help." Ravi felt a strange sadness in her voice. She had come from far away, only to find war and fire. "You said the Drake are looking for you," he said. "Will they come here?" Neela didn't answer at first. Then she said, "If they find a trace of my signal, yes, they never stop." Ravi stood up and walked to the window. The trees were thick, no roads nearby, no aircraft in the sky. "This place is quiet," he said. "Maybe they won't find it." Neela turned her head. "Maybe. But they have tools. They scan, they search, they listen to the wind." Ravi looked at her. "So what do we do?" "I need time," she said. "Time to fix my mind orb. If I can repair it fully, I can call my people. Maybe they will find me before the Drake do." "Can I help?" Ravi asked. Neela looked surprised. "You want to help me?" "Yes," he said simply. "You didn't hurt me. You're not the enemy. And you shared your food with me last night." "I only ate your bread," she said. "That counts." Ravi smiled. Neela smiled back, a small smile, but real. That day, Ravi showed her round the forest house. The tools were old, but he had wires, batteries, and even a solar charger his uncle once used. Neela studied everything carefully. She connected small pieces to her mind orb and watched the lights flicker. At noon, they went outside. The forest was peaceful. Rabbits ran in the grass. Birds flew high above. Ravi collected water from the nearby stream, and Neela scanned the area with a small device shaped like a leaf. "No signs of them yet," she said. "But I can feel something, a low hum in the wind." "What does that mean?" he asked. "It means they are not far." At night, they sat near the fire again. Neela opened a glowing book from her belt. Images floated in the air. Strange stars, maps, and lights danced in the air. "Is this your home?" Ravi asked. Neela nodded. "A world full of light, quiet lakes, silver skies. My people live with nature. We don't build tall towers. We live in the ground and in the trees." "It sounds beautiful," Ravi said. "It is," she replied softly. "But it's far now, and maybe broken." Ravi watched the images fade. The fire crackled between them. "We don't have much here," he said, "but I'll help you however I can." Neela looked at him. Her eyes didn't glow now. They were soft. "Your kind is strange," she said. "Your world is loud, fast, but your heart is steady." Ravi didn't know what to say. He just nodded. That night, As he lay under a warm blanket near the fire, he looked across the room. Neela was asleep, her mind orb floating beside her, glowing gently in the dark. He had come here to hide from danger, but now he felt something else: responsibility. He was not just hiding anymore. He was protecting something, or maybe someone. The next few days passed slowly in the forest house. Every morning, Ravi and Neela woke up early. The sun came through the trees, and the birds filled the air with soft music. But peace was only on the surface. A quiet tension lived under the silence. Neela spent most of her time working on her mind orb. The small, floating device had begun to shine more brightly. She connected tiny parts to it, using thin wires and blue crystals that looked like glass but pulsed with energy. Ravi watched her work with interest. "What do these things do?" he asked one morning. "They are memory chips," she said. "They store paths, voices, star maps. I must fix them before I can send a message to my people." Ravi nodded. He couldn't understand the advanced parts, but he still helped. He gave her metal pieces, old batteries, and even wires from an unused radio. "I never thought this junk would be used by someone from another world," Ravi said with a smile. Neela looked up. "It's not junk if it saves lives." That afternoon, Ravi showed Neela how to set traps around the house. "These are simple," he explained, pulling up a vine from the ground. "If someone steps here, it will pull their foot and hang them upside down." Neela watched, then said, "We use silent traps. They freeze time around a person for 5 seconds. But your way is clever. They place sharp sticks under leaves and tie bells to the back door." Ravi even made smoke bombs using dry herbs, oil, and broken flashlight parts. "Why do you know all this?" Neela asked, clearly impressed. "My uncle taught me," Ravi said. "He was a hunter before he became a writer. Said it was important to know both how to fight and how to tell the story." Neela was silent for a moment. He must have been wise. Ravi looked into the trees. "He believes stories keep us alive even after we're gone." One night, the air changed. It became heavy, still, like the forest was holding its breath. Neela stood near the door, her eyes glowing softly. The mind orb floated beside her and spun quickly. "What is it?" Ravi asked. "They are close," she whispered. Ravi ran outside and climbed the old wooden tower behind the house. He looked through a pair of binoculars in the far sky. A dark shape moved above the trees. It was smooth, like a flying rock. It had no lights, no sound. "Is that one of them?" he asked through the walkie-talkie. Double quotes. "Yes," Neela replied. "It's a Drake scout drone. It's looking for me." Ravi climbed down quickly. "What do? "We stay low," she said. "If they detect life signs, they may send more. We must not give them a reason." They turned off the fire and covered the windows with old curtains. Neela activated a thin shield that covered the house in a low hum. "What is this?" Ravi asked. "A soft shield. It bends heat and sound, but it only works for 2 hours." They sat together in the dark, listening. Suddenly, a light passed across the trees outside, bright and white like lightning. The ground trembled for a second, and then the light moved away. "They are sweeping the forest," Neela said, looking for unusual shapes, heat, and movement. Ravi clenched his fists. "So they are close, very close?" Neela nodded. "Yes, and they will not stop." The next day, Ravi woke up with a new idea. He looked around the forest and found large flat stones, old paint cans, and sharp sticks. He set them in a circle far from the house. "What are you building?" Neela asked. "A distraction." Ravi said, "If they get near, we make them think something else is more interesting." He used black paint to draw fake machines on the stones, added wires to dead radios, and made small fires that would burn cold herbs. These gave off heat but no smoke. "It will look like a crashed ship," he said. "They might think it's what they're looking for." Neela smiled. "You think like a Drake hunter." "No," Ravi said. "I think like a forest man." That night, something changed again. The mind orb beeped softly. Neela touched it, and a small map appeared in the air. A red light blinked near the forest. They sent land scouts. She said, walking machines with 4 legs. They scan every stone, every tree. Ravi stood up. Then it's time to test the fake site. He led Neela through a hidden trail to a small hill where they could see the trap clearly. They waited. Within an hour, 2 machines appeared. They were black and thin, like giant insects. Their eyes glowed green, and their legs made no sound. One of them walked straight toward the fake crash site. It scanned the heat, the wires, and the broken radio. Then it made a sharp noise. It's alerting others, Neela said. Suddenly, the second machine stepped on one of Ravi's spike traps. A loud snap echoed through the trees. Sparks flew. The machine fell and thrashed on the ground. Ravi grabbed a stone and threw it at the fuel pile. The fire rose and smoke covered the area. Run, he shouted. They escaped through the trees and reached the cabin just as the smoke spread. Neela turned and looked back. They will now believe that a ship crashed there, she said. We bought time. Ravi nodded, breathing hard. Then we'll use that time. Inside the cabin, they checked the mind orb. The signal was stronger. The map was clear. I need only one more part, Neela said. A stable power source. Ravi thought for a moment. Then he smiled. I know where to find one. Neela looked at him. Where? There's an old satellite tower in the mountain. My uncle showed it to me once. It's broken, but the core might still be working. She looked into his eyes. It will be dangerous, yes. Ravi said, but if it helps you call your people, I'll go. Neela said nothing, but her eyes said everything. A human and an alien. Strangers a few days ago. Now, they were allies, and their battle had just begun. Ravi packed his bag before sunrise. He added dry food, a bottle of water, flashlight, rope, and a sharp forest knife. His face was calm, but inside, his heart beat faster than usual. Neela stood near the door of the cabin. Her mind orb floated. Beside her, glowing softly, you don't have to do this alone, she said. Ravi tightened the straps of his bag. I do. If we both go, and they find the house, we'll lose everything. But if I go alone, you can stay hidden and keep working. Neela looked at him for a long moment. You are brave for someone who says he is not a fighter. I'm still not, Ravi replied. But I am stubborn. She reached into her pocket and gave him a small stone. It was clear and smooth, like a drop of frozen water. This will light up if danger is near, she said. Keep it close. Ravi took the stone and nodded. I'll be back by night. He stepped into the morning. Mist and disappeared into the forest. The old satellite tower was nearly 5 kilometers away, up a steep mountain path. Ravi followed the trail his uncle had once shown him, now covered in vines and moss. Trees stood like quiet giants around him, and the wind whispered through their leaves. After 2 hours of walking, he reached a broken fence. Rusty metal wires hung loose, and weeds grew between the cracks. Behind the fence stood the tall tower, leaning slightly but still standing. Ravi climbed over and stepped inside the outer building. Dust covered the floor. Old machines lined the walls. Birds had made nests in the corners, and pieces of metal lay scattered. He moved carefully, searching for the power core Neela needed. After searching 3 rooms, he found it a heavy silver box with wires still connected. A small green light blinked on the side. The core was still alive. Yes, Ravi whispered. But as he touched it, the clear stone in his pocket glowed faint blue. He froze. The air felt different, heavy, like something had entered the building. He pulled the stone out. It glowed brighter. He stepped back and looked out the cracked window. A drake drone was floating near the fence. It had no wings, just a black round body and a single red eye in the center. It scanned the area slowly. Ravi held his breath and hid behind a table. The drone moved closer. It made a soft clicking sound and shone a red light on the floor. Ravi knew he had only one chance. He grabbed a metal pipe from the ground and threw it to the other side of the room. The drone turned and followed the sound. At the same moment, Ravi lifted the power core and ran out the back door. The core was heavy, but he didn't stop. Behind him, the drone gave a sharp beep and began to chase. Ravi ran into the forest. Trees passed in a blur, His feet hit roots and rocks, but he kept going. The drone fired a red beam that hit the tree. Beside him, burning the bark, he ducked and rolled behind a fallen log. The drone hovered above. Scanning again, Ravi pulled out his flashlight and threw it far away. It hit a rock and made a loud sound. The drone turned and flew toward it, using that moment. Ravi crawled through the bushes and moved downhill fast. After 15 minutes of running, the forest grew quiet again. He looked back. The drone was gone. He was safe for now. When he reached the cabin, it was already late afternoon. Neela opened the door with wide eyes. "You're hurt," she said. Ravi looked down. His arm was cut, and there was dirt on his face. But he smiled. "I brought the core." Neela took it from him and placed it beside the mind orb. "You risked everything," she said quietly. "That's what humans do sometimes," Ravi replied, "even when we're scared." Neela connected the power core to her device. A bright light filled the room for a second. The mind orb floated higher, spinning faster than ever. "It's working," she said. "I can send a signal now, but I must wait for the right time. If the Drake hear it too early, they will come before my people do." Ravi sat down and drank water. "How long?" "Maybe a day," she said. "Maybe 2. Ravi nodded. "Then we prepare." That evening, they worked together. Ravi repaired more traps, and Neela helped him improve them using parts from her suit. One trap now released a blinding flash. Another made a loud noise like a blast. They placed mirrors in trees to confuse heat scans and scattered metal bits to reflect signals. Before sleeping, they sat near the fire. The mind orb floated nearby, humming softly. "You're not like what I expected," Neela said suddenly. "Expected?" Ravi asked. "My people believed humans were careless, loud, too young to be wise. But now I see something else." "Like what?" he asked. "You don't give up, even when you are alone." "Even when it hurts," Ravi smiled faintly. "We're not perfect, but we try." Neela looked into the flames. "Maybe that's what makes you strong." Silence filled the room, a warm, calm silence. But far away, in the dark sky, something else moved. A shape above the clouds, a Drake signal tower, had detected energy from the forest. The enemy was coming, and Ravi's test of spirit was not over yet. The morning air was heavy. No birds sang. No wind moved the leaves. The forest had gone still, like it was waiting for something dark. Ravi stood on the roof of the cabin, holding the binoculars tightly. His eyes scanned the trees, the hills, and the sky. Nothing yet, but he could feel it. Something had changed. Neela stepped outside. Her mind orb was spinning fast, its light blinking red. "They found the signal," she said. "The Drake are coming." Ravi came down quickly. "How long do we have?" "Hours, not more." He looked at her. "Can we still send the message?" Neela nodded. "Yes, but I need to hold the signal open until my people lock onto it. That means staying in one place. That means they'll find us before help arrives." Ravi's hands curled into fists. "Then we don't wait. We fight." Neela looked at him with calm eyes. "You are only one man." "But I'm not weak," Ravi said. "And this is my world." They moved quickly. Ravi gathered his traps, ropes, and smoke bombs. Neela used her tools to build small sensor stones. She placed them near trees, and when something moved, the stones would blink and make a sound. They made a plan. "If they come from the West Hill, we pull them into the traps here," Ravi said, drawing lines on the dirt floor. "If they come from the sky, we hide under the stone cave." Neela added marks. "We use the mirror trees to confuse their heat vision. And here, we place the light bomb." Ravi looked at her and smiled. "We make a good team." She gave a small smile back. "You think like a fighter now, only when I have no choice." In the afternoon, the first warning came. One of Neela's sensor stones blinked red. It was placed near the outer trail. "They are here," she whispered. Ravi checked through the binoculars. He saw 3 creatures moving silently through the forest. Their legs were long and sharp, like spider legs. Their skin was dark gray, and their eyes glowed green. Each held a long device that looked like a thin gun. "The Drake," Ravi said softly. He and Neela hid behind a wall of stones near the cabin. Remember the plan, Ravi whispered. We draw them in, then confuse them. The drake came closer. They moved with strange grace, not fast, but steady, as if they had done this hundreds of times. When the first one stepped into the trap circle, the ground gave way. A net of vines pulled the creature up, swinging it upside down between the trees. It made a loud clicking sound, trying to free itself. The second one turned to help, but Neela threw a light bomb. It exploded in a flash of white, blinding the enemy. Ravi jumped from behind a tree and hit the third one with a long wooden stick, tied with metal spikes. The creature fell back, surprised. For a moment, it worked. But then, more drake appeared. They moved faster now. One fired a green beam that burned through the side of the cabin wall. They brought more than we thought. Neela shouted, Fall back, Ravi said. They ran toward the rock cave behind the hill, where Neela had placed a mirror trap dot. As the drake followed, they stepped into the mirror circle. Their heat scanners failed. The mirrors reflected their own signals, confusing their machines. Two of them fired at shadows. Hitting nothing, Ravi used this chance. He lit a smoke bomb and rolled it down the slope. Thick smoke covered the area. Inside the cave, Neela placed her mind orb on a flat stone. It hovered above, glowing bright blue now. This is it, she said. I'm sending the message. How long will it take? Ravi asked. 10 minutes. We must hold them back until then. Outside, the drake cleared the smoke. Their leader, taller than the others, scanned the ground. It gave a sharp whistle. In reply, a small flying drone appeared above the trees. The drone scanned the cave. Ravi saw the red light flash across the rocks. They found us, he said. Neela did not stop. She closed her eyes and placed both hands on the mind orb. It spun faster, sending out a soft hum. Ravi stepped outside with a torch and 2 sharp sticks. 3 drake charged. He threw the torch into the dry leaves. Flames rose quickly, creating a wall of fire. The drake stopped. One tried to jump over, but Ravi threw a stick, hitting its leg. It fell into the fire and screeched. The second drake came round the side, fast. Ravi turned and ran, leading it away from the cave. He climbed a short tree and waited. As the creature passed below, Ravi jumped down, landing on its back. He hit it again and again until it stopped moving. He stood, breathing hard, covered in sweat and dust. Then he heard Neela call out, Ravi, it's done. He ran back. Neela stood with the mind orb glowing white. They heard me, she said. They are coming. A loud sound shook the forest, a deep hum, growing stronger. Far above, the clouds opened. A wide beam of silver light came down through the sky, shining on the forest floor. The remaining drakes stopped. They looked up, confused. From the beam, a silver shape dropped smooth, fast, and bright. It was a ship. Neela's people had arrived. The drake leader gave a strange roar and turned to escape, but the ship released a wave of blue energy. It spread like wind, freezing the enemies in place. The forest grew silent again. The ship landed near the cave. A tall figure stepped out, wearing a glowing suit. Neela stood slowly. Commander, she said. You survived, the figure replied, and with help, Neela nodded. This is Ravi, a human. He protected me. The commander looked at Ravi. Your world is stronger than we believed. Ravi said nothing. He was tired, but he stood straight. Neela turned to him. You saved more than me today. You saved me too, Ravi replied. The commander raised a hand. Come, we have much to talk about. Neela looked at Ravi one last time. I'll come back, she said. Ravi nodded. I'll be here. And as the ship rose into the sky, the forest became quiet again, but not empty. It had a new story now. The forest was quiet again, but Ravi knew it was not over. Neela had left with her people. Rising into the sky in a bright silver ship, Ravi had stood there for a long time, staring at the empty air, feeling a strange silence in his heart. The forest house was still there, the trap still set, but everything felt different now. For 2 days, Ravi fixed the damaged cabin walls, cleaned the area, and waited. The sky looked peaceful, but his heart did not trust it. On the third night, the sky changed again. A dark shape moved above the clouds, not silver like Neela's people, black, long, silent. Ravi stood at the edge of the clearing, holding the clear stone she had given him. It began to glow faint blue. "They're back," he whispered. Ravi didn't panic. He walked quickly to the forest tower and climbed to the top. He looked through his binoculars and saw what he feared, a Drake scout ship larger than before. It hovered over the far hills, scanning the land. "They're searching again," he said. "Looking for her, or for revenge." He climbed down and returned to the cabin. He gathered supplies: rope, herbs, smoke bombs, sharp sticks. Then he sat beside the fire and stared at the stone Neela had left for him. "You said the stars will remember me," he whispered. "Then I must make sure they remember the truth." At sunrise, Ravi began setting his final traps. He moved through the forest like a shadow, calm but fast. He placed noise triggers near the west trail. He hung mirrors again to reflect signals. He used old metal sheets to build fake heat sources. He even set a hidden trail with footprints made of wood leading far from the real cabin. "If they want to fight, they'll find it," he said. By noon, he returned to the cabin and checked his old solar radio. He turned the dial and spoke softly. "This is Ravi. If anyone from Neela's people is still listening, I may need help. The Drake are back. I will hold them as long as I can." No reply came, only soft static. "Still," he smiled, "at least I tried." That night, they came. The trees shook as the black scout ship lowered toward the clearing. Its engines were silent, but the ground trembled. A hatch opened, and 4 tall Drake soldiers stepped out. Their eyes were green fire, and their armor shone like stone. They moved fast. Ravi watched from the trees. He waited until they passed over the first trap. A loud crack filled the air. The trap triggered, pulling to Drake into the air, their arms caught in strong ropes. Ravi lit a smoke bomb and threw it behind them. The air filled with white mist. One Drake fired blindly, hitting a tree. Another turned toward the cabin. Ravi moved to the side and released the second trap. A flash of light exploded, blinding the soldiers for a few seconds. He ran behind the cabin and threw a sound trigger onto the west trail. It made a loud scream-like noise. The Drake followed it, just as he planned. But then, one of them stopped. It scanned the ground and turned toward the real cabin. "They're learning," Ravi said. He ran inside, took his flashlight, and held the stone Neela gave him. The stone began to glow bright blue. "They're close." He heard the door break. A heavy footstep. Then another. Ravi stood behind a wooden wall, holding a metal pipe. As the Drake entered, Ravi hit the beam. A hanging trap fell from above, slamming into the creature's chest. It fell backward with a loud crash. The second one aimed its weapon at Ravi, but before it could fire, a loud sound filled the sky. A deep hum, a light from above. Ravi ran outside. The clouds were glowing. A bright silver line broke through the sky. It was Neela's ship. And this time, she was not alone. 3 more silver ships followed. They hovered like birds made of stars, shining against the night sky. The Drake looked up, frozen for a moment. Then the ships released a wave of blue light that spread across the forest. The Drake weapons stopped glowing. One by one, they dropped their arms, stunned. Ravi dropped at his knees, breathing hard. Neela stepped down from the nearest ship. She walked across the clearing toward him. "You're still standing," she said softly. Ravi looked up, smiling. "Barely." She helped him to his feet. "We saw your signal," she said. "We returned as fast as we could." "I had to try," Ravi said, "even if I was alone." Neela looked around. "You were never alone. Not in spirit, your forest, your heart. They fought with you." Her commander stepped forward. "The Drake ship is leaving. We've disabled their control. They won't return soon." Neela looked at Ravi again. "You bought us time. You protected more than just this place. You showed us that your world is worth protecting." Ravi looked around at the trees, the sky, the smoke still rising from broken traps. "I didn't do it for the world," he said. "I did it because a friend needed help." Neela smiled. Then maybe that's the same thing. They sat near the fire that night, not as strangers, but as survivors. The stars above were clear, and the forest slowly returned to peace. Neela handed Ravi a new crystal. It glowed like a tiny moon. "This will help you call us," she said. "If your world ever needs it again." Ravi looked at the glowing crystal. "I hope I never have to use it, but if you do," she said, "we'll come." He looked up at the sky. "And next time, maybe we'll be ready." The sun rose slowly over the forest, casting golden light through the trees. Smoke from the burn traps had faded. Birds were singing again, and the air felt calm. Ravi stood outside the cabin, watching the silver ships in the sky. Neela and her team were still on the ground, repairing equipment and scanning the area. The battle was over, but his heart still felt heavy. Neela walked toward him. She was no longer wounded, and her silver suit shone in the sunlight. "You look tired," she said gently. Ravi nodded. "I didn't sleep much. Just thinking." Neela looked at the cabin. "This place saved me, and you saved it." Ravi gave a small smile. "It wasn't just me. The forest helped, and maybe luck." Neela shook her head. "It was more than luck. You had no weapons like ours. No shields, no army. But still, you fought back. You planned. You risked everything." He looked down at the dirt. "I just didn't want to run. I couldn't let them win." Neela touched the small crystal she had given him. "You showed something we forgot. You showed heart." Later that morning, Neela's commander, a tall figure named Solon, called a small meeting near the edge of the forest. A clear glass table floated in the air, showing glowing images above it, maps, energy readings, and alien symbols. Solon looked at Ravi and spoke with calm respect. "We have sent a message to our home. What happened here will be recorded in our history." Ravi was surprised. "Why me? I'm just a technician. I never wanted to be a hero." "You didn't want it," Solon replied, "but you became one. That is what matters." Neela added, "Many of our leaders believe Earth was weak, simple, unready for space. But now they see that even with no help, a human stood and protected life. They will think again." Ravi felt unsure. "But Earth is still not ready. We don't have ships like you, or tools like yours." Solon smiled. "Not yet. But strength is not only about tools. It's also about courage, kindness, and the will to protect others." Neela asked Ravi to walk with her. They moved through the forest, past the river and the tall rocks. The air was fresh, and the trees whispered in the wind. "You changed something in me," Neela said quietly. "How?" he asked. "When I first met you, I didn't think you could help me. You were soft. You had no armor. But you never gave up. You shared food. You shared your home. You cared." Ravi looked at the sky. "I didn't know what else to do. You were alone. So was I." They stopped near the old tree with carved letters marks left by Ravi's uncle long ago. Ravi touched the bark. "This forest has always been a place to hide," he said. "Now it feels like something more." Neela nodded. "Now it's a place where a new story began." That afternoon, the silver ships began to prepare for takeoff. Lights blinked on their sides, engines hummed softly. The clearing near the cabin had become a temporary spaceport. Ravi stood near the steps of the main ship. Neela stood with him, holding a small tablet. "We need to go now," she said. "There are more battles waiting, more worlds to protect." Ravi nodded. "I understand." She handed him the tablet. On the screen was a small message written in her language and translated below it. "To the brave one who fought with heart when all seemed lost." He smiled. "Thank you. I'll keep this." She stepped closer. "Will you be okay here?" He looked around. "I have the forest, the stars, and maybe one day someone else will come." Neela smiled. "Or maybe we'll return." The engines of the ship grew louder. Other crew members were already inside. Solon waved at Ravi one last time. Neela looked into Ravi's eyes. "Goodbye, brave one." "Goodbye, Neela," he said softly. She stepped onto the ship. The doors closed. The silver vessel rose into the sky, slow and graceful. Then it vanished into the clouds, leaving only soft wind behind. Ravi stood alone in the clearing. The forest was quiet again. He touched the glowing crystal in his pocket. It was dim now, calm. He walked back to the cabin. It needed repairs, but it stood strong. Just like him, over the next days, Ravi lived simply. He cleaned, hunted, wrote notes, and listened to the sky at night. He kept the tablet and the crystal near the fire. Sometimes he would look up and wonder where was Neela now. What worlds had she seen? Did she tell others about Earth? Weeks passed, then months. But Ravi was no longer the same man who once came to the forest to hide. He was someone new. Someone who knew that even one person, with courage and care, could change them. Stars, and somewhere far in the galaxy, stories were being told about a man in a forest. A strange meeting, in the day humanity stood tall.